Russell, a friend of Sarah Ferguson, has revealed that she's on the cusp of a nervous breakdown as her daughters are being dragged into the scandal over her association with Jeffrey Epstein. Sarah Ferguson is spiraling. The former Duchess of York, once the royal family's comeback queen, is said to be on edge more so than Andrew. She's been busy blaming herself and even planning to flee Britain for good. After decades of living under the same roof as her disgraced ex-husband, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the walls of Royal Lodge are closing in. And now, sources say what's unfolding inside those gates is nothing short of chaos. Andrew has been stripped of his prince title. His honors are gone. And now he's agreed to give up the 30-room Royal Lodge, the home he's occupied for decades on what many call peppercorn rent. Inside the mansion, boxes line the corridors. Amazon deliveries pile up unopened, a mountain of clutter symbolic of years of privilege collapsing in slow motion. It'll take weeks, if not months, to shift all their stuff out, one insider told the Daily Mail. The scene, according to those close to the couple, feels like the aftermath of a storm, and Fergie, for once, doesn't know how to rebuild. She keeps saying, "What if I hadn't done this? What if I hadn't done that?" said one source. She's blaming herself for everything. For decades, Sarah Ferguson was a master of reinvention, the scandal-ridden duchess who always managed to bounce back with charm, humor, and a new project. But this time, the redemption machine has broken down. The headlines, the disgrace, the silence from her circle, it's all too familiar. Of course, this situation has affected Sarah Ferguson. She's been forced to relinquish her titles. I think it's quite unfortunate, that we have to discuss people's mental health and all of this, because it will no doubt take a huge effect on the... While Sarah reportedly paces through Royal Lodge in distress, Andrew has reacted very differently. Multiple reports claim the disgraced royal has retreated completely from reality, spending hours shut inside, playing video games. Those close to the family describe him as holed up in his private quarters, isolated and withdrawn, escaping into screens while the world outside collapses. It's an image that perfectly captures where the House of York stands today. A fallen prince clinging to distractions and a former duchess drowning in regret, once united by scandal, now divided by denial. The turning point came when the Mail on Sunday revealed that Sarah had personally emailed Jeffrey Epstein, apologizing to him for publicly distancing herself. The email destroyed what was left of her public reputation. ITV dropped her. Publishers backed away. Even her latest children's book, Flora and Fern, has been delayed. Originally scheduled for October 9th, the book's release was quietly pushed back to late November. Waterstone confirmed the change, while industry insiders described the move as sensible, given the scandal surrounding her name. For a woman who spent decades monetizing forgiveness, the silence from her partners is deafening. To understand this collapse, you have to understand the pattern. In entitled, The Rise and Fall of the House of York, biographer Andrew Loney details Fergie's lifelong addiction to excess. She once spent £25,000 in an hour at Bloomingdale's. She took 9 holidays a year and maintained a small army of staff. Cooks, chauffeurs, nannies, gardeners, and even a flower arranger. Dinners were described as medieval banquets with roasts, sides, and desserts served nightly, most of it going to waste. By the mid-1990s, she was drowning in £3.7 million of debt and resorted to commercial deals and endorsements to fund the image of a royal who refused to fade. But time and the public's patience have finally run out. Today, friends say the phone has stopped ringing. Invitations have vanished. Even her most loyal defenders have gone quiet. Her daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, are reportedly urging her to rebrand. She's now surrounded by a new team of PR fixers, professionals hired to sell her as a leader in female positivity, focusing on motherhood and philanthropy. But insiders are skeptical. As one put it bluntly, she's always managed to bounce back until now. And now, with her reputation in ruins and her financial future uncertain, Sarah is said to be considering leaving Britain altogether. After 4 years of research, after 4 years of looking into this woman, who is to you Sarah Ferguson? Well, Sarah Ferguson is a woman of great charm, great ability, a woman who could do a lot of good, has a great empathetic feel for, particularly, deprived children. Even the Queen's beloved corgis, Muick and Sandy, have become part of the speculation. Buckingham Palace has confirmed that the dogs will remain with the family once the Royal Lodge is vacated, though it remains unclear whether they'll live with Andrew, Sarah, or one of their daughters. It's a small but symbolic question, one that perfectly sums up the confusion and collapse of this once glamorous household. Behind the thick hedges of Royal Lodge, Sarah Ferguson is said to be unraveling. Friends describe a woman oscillating between fury and despair, one moment blaming herself, the next lashing out at the world that has, in her eyes, turned its back. She's pacing through the halls, not sleeping, barely eating, one insider said. It's like watching someone crumble in real time. For years, Fergie cultivated a unique resilience. Whenever scandal struck, she'd emerge smiling, hair perfectly coiffed, cheeks flushed with optimism, insisting that she'd learned a valuable lesson. It became her brand, the Duchess who survived humiliation and always came back stronger. But this time, that instinctive bounce-back has deserted her. Those who've spoken to her privately say she's haunted by what she's lost. She keeps replaying her life in loops, said one former aide. The marriage, the divorce, the toe-sucking photos, the Oprah interviews, the business ventures. She's obsessing over every misstep, convinced that if she just handled one thing differently, none of this would be happening. Sources close to the family say her daughters have stepped in, quietly monitoring her well-being and urging her to seek help. They've never seen her like this, said one. She's terrified of public humiliation, terrified of financial ruin, and terrified that she's finally worn out her last chance. What makes this collapse so striking is that it's unfolding entirely in the open. The woman who once courted the media is now trapped by it. Every headline, every photograph, every leaked quote cutting a little deeper. She can't switch it off, said one source. She reads everything, the comments, the articles, even the parody accounts. It's eating her alive. Her recent attempts at control have backfired spectacularly. The new PR team, reportedly hired to reposition her as a leader in female empowerment, are said to be struggling. One consultant described the challenge bluntly. How do you sell empowerment when the public sees dependency, excess, and denial? There's talk of a tell-all memoir, a last-ditch effort to reclaim the narrative. But even that idea, once Fergie's favorite strategy, now feels impossible. No major publisher will touch her right now, said a senior editor. She's become uninsurable. The risk of fresh revelations is simply too great. Andrew spends his days locked away, lost in video games, while Sarah drifts from room to room, clutching her phone, waiting for calls that no longer come. The house, once a symbol of defiance, now feels like a mausoleum for two people who refuse to let go. One longtime friend described a scene that borders on tragic. It's not just the unopened boxes. It's the atmosphere. You can feel the panic in the air. She's watching everything fall apart, and there's nothing left to hide behind. Fergie's loyal staff, those who remain, are said to tread carefully, unsure when the next emotional outburst might erupt. The stress of eviction, financial strain, and public disgrace have pushed her close to breaking point. She's fragile, said one insider. The tough facade has cracked. This is a woman genuinely afraid of what comes next. Those close to her say that for the first time in decades, Fergie has no plan, no brand partnerships, no lucrative speaking engagements, no guaranteed home. The network that once propped her up has disappeared. She's realizing how few true friends she has left, said one acquaintance. People loved the title. Without it, she's alone. Royal watchers call this the final act, the point where Sarah Ferguson must either reinvent herself honestly or disappear entirely from public life. But the question remains, does she have the strength to do either? Because beneath the headlines and the hollow press statements lies something far more human, a woman confronting the ruins of her own mythology. The Duchess who once embodied survival now faces the one scandal she can't outrun, herself. And as movers prepare to dismantle Royal Lodge box by box, the story of Sarah Ferguson, her rise, her reinventions, her unrelenting need to be seen ends not with applause, but with silence. And so the once inseparable pair who branded themselves the world's happiest divorced couple now sit on opposite ends of the same downfall. The Duchess who once lived for the spotlight now hides from it. And as she quietly prepares to leave the UK, the question remains, is Sarah Ferguson truly fleeing the chaos, or just running from herself? Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss my latest updates on the Royal.